and welcome back to the SMITE Circuit Playoffs. 3 sets down and 1 more to go for today, at the very least. To close out our day, we got the Herculean Hoofs taking on Sleekness. Sleekness, the only team to so far get a 2-0 in the entirety of the playoffs. Other than that, it's been nothing but 2-1 sets throughout the entirety of our SCC Circuit Playoffs here. It's J. Mac Tucker joining me, Mifflin. But, Mifflin, you like Halloween?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
You like pumpkins?
You know, actually, now that you asked, and I know that this is supposed to be a quick bit and you weren't expecting an actual answer, this is probably like my third favorite holiday. Number 1, gotta be Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I'm a big sucker for stuffing. Number 2, Christmas. I like free stuff.
That's true. But you at home have a chance to get some free stuff of your own.
Ooh,
if you
nice.
like pumpkins and you like carving pumpkins, this is your opportunity to enter for a chance to win some gems and even some skin codes. Make sure to go over to the official Smite Game Discord at discord.gg/SmiteGame and enter the pumpkin carving contest. 1,000 gems to the first prize, second and third, 800 and 600 gems respectively, and there's even a chance for you to win a $25 gift card if you are Scuba's pick. I'm not sure exactly who Scuba is or why he's making the big pick here, but hey, if you impress Scuba enough, maybe you can earn yourself a nice little gift card. You have until October 29th to submit your entry, so make sure that you go over to the Discord server and enter your pumpkin carving contest entry. Sure to be fun, sure to be a lot of really cool pumpkins out there. I'm really curious to see what all fun is to be had there. But the fun's not over for us today, Mifflin. We got Herculean Hoofs and Sleekness as our final set to round out day number 2, and then we got an entire weekend up ahead of us still with some intense Smite action.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. The North American 2nd seed up against the 4th seed on the winner's side of the bracket. Lots of stakes here, but why not just take a peek at the schedule and see what's left to come?
Sleekness with the only 2-0 on the North American side and any of our sets. They sent the winner dogs down to the loser's bracket, and then the winner dogs just won their matchup against the Sturdy Artisans, who got sent down by Herculean Hoofs. So here, now on the winner's side bracket, loser of this match, well, they're going to go down to the loser's bracket themselves, and they'll have to face off against the winner dogs. But the winner will get a nice little ticket to the grand final, so 1-game advantage in that best of 5. But most importantly, the coveted guaranteed seed into the SWC placement matchups that'll take place in December. So everybody's going to have all eyes and ears on this set for these two teams.
Yeah, whichever team wins here, again, guarantees themselves a place at Worlds. I'm very excited to see this one pan out. Worth noting that some of the most famous players in the North American SEC will be performing here today. And we'll start with the Herculean Hoofs, or the team formerly known as Baskin and the Boys. Titular Baskin, I think, is a great place to start. The mid laner of this team has been dominant on a plethora of picks. He's going to play Thoth, he's going to play Yanis, he's going to play whatever he feels like on the day of. Sometimes it's Nox. I hope it isn't that. There's just a highly dominant squad.
Yeah, not just Baskin, but everybody else around him. Cope, a new addition to the team here on this land, was able to make some strong, stellar performances in their first set of the week and has pretty much just slotted himself right into this group. Even Snoopy, a very seasoned player on this team. Really, the whole squad here. A lot of veteran talent, Meerkat, Cope, Baskin, Gino, and Snoopy to fully round out this team of 5. But I think it is right to throw some credit over towards Baskin's way. The double soul game that he had in their first set of the weekend, putting out a ton of player damage, being able to really control a lot of these team fights.
If Baskin was not going for a degree in economics, it would be curtains for the leagues. I'm not talking about the SCC, the SOC. I'm talking about the Smite Pro League. Wooney Kim is a blessing to this game, and we are lucky it is a hobby.
I think everybody might be a little bit lucky. Maybe his team is actually lucky that it is just a hobby because they get to have a player like Baskin here to dominate the mid lane with the rest of his team. But again, you got to throw the rest of the team out there. It's not a one-man. It's not a one-man show out here in Smite.
Baskin and the Boys for a reason.
No, it's not Baskin and the Boys. It's the Herculean Hoofs.
You know what the Hoofs? You know what the Hoof stands for?
Yes, Mifflin, I know what the
All right, cool. Then we don't need to go into it.
No, we don't need to go into that bit at all. Herculean Hoofs out here on the winner's side of the bracket facing off against Sleekness. Sleekness, one of the only teams to take sets off the Herculean Hoofs in the early stages of the regular season. Did get a 2-0 to round out their last encounter. You think maybe we see some shades of that here in our set?
Well, I'm not going to count out Sleekness, but they are the 4th seed. This is the 2nd seed. If I were a betting man, and I am absolutely not, I hate when money changes hands. But if I didn't, I'd probably put my money on the Hoofs.
Well, the Hoofs mid laner, Baskin, the one that's been hyped up so much here by Mifflin, is standing by with aggro for our pregame interview.
Yeah, thanks, J-Mac. Are you and Mifflin like best friends behind the scenes that I didn't know about?
I guess so.
He's hyping me up a lot. It's kind of making me uncomfortable, to be honest.
Well, don't worry. I'll be crapping on you all cast
great,
long.
great.
So I got your back on that one. Look, you came into this land with Cope instead of Mask. You and Mask have obviously played together for a long time. How do you think your and Cope's play styles have meshed so far?
Pretty well so far. I mean, Cope has a pretty similar playstyle to Mask. He's a pretty aggressive running down jungler. So, I mean, jungle's a really important role for how the team plays. Obviously, they control the pace of the game, but he has a very similar playstyle, so he slotted right in pretty much.
Sleekness yesterday played really well, upset the Winter Dogs. How do you think that? What did you see from them that you're preparing for today?
I mean, we have scrimmed them a couple times. Obviously, we played them throughout the regular season. They kind of play a bit of the same that they did before. I mean, they do play weird stuff, but I feel like everyone's playing weird stuff. Like Benny's playing like Assassin's Mid and stuff like that.
Sure.
Everyone's just experimenting with stuff. I don't know. They didn't really show anything new, I don't think, in yesterday's games.
How important is it for you guys to get this win and find that best of 5 game advantage?
I mean, super important. I mean, obviously it's one extra game, and also the mental advantage of having an extra game just going at the set without actually playing anything. It's obviously huge too, so yeah.
Looking forward to it, man. Good luck today.
All right, thank you.
Throw it back to the desk.
I guess we better say as many good things about the players out here as we can, because it sounds like Aggro is not going to be doing so much here. I mean,
I don't want to make him uncomfortable. I'm going to stop.
Nothing but praises for these
I hate
players,
that
but
guy.
Aggro out here, no, he's going to shut that down quick. He's going to tune down the ego of the rest of the players by putting them back in their place here. The Herculean Hoofs are going up against Sleekness, as you highlighted, the 4th seed team coming out here, but the performance they had yesterday and with the performance they've had in recent weeks in the SCC regular season of play, you could have fooled me that this is a 4th seed team, man.
The only squad to find themselves in a 2-0 position. It is Chronic, Oath, Nehu, Quig, and Dude Man Bro. 429. Don't forget the numbers at the end. He will remind you every single time that there are numbers at the end of his name. I will never make that mistake again. They've been looking incredibly strong this weekend. It has been a very versatile playstyle, but the common thread is early game dominance. These guys come out swinging, and they swing early, despite going for some more late game slanted picks and some very unique picks at that. Quig plays the E-set support. That comes immediately to mind as something that I don't see often and probably will not see very many times again throughout the rest of my casting career, so happy to have been here to watch Quig put on a masterclass with that pick. Outside of that, Oath plays Nemesis, something that I would consider late game slanted. No, he gets involved at like the second wave. The second it ticks over in mid, he's there, making sure somebody knows that he's playing this one. And the same can be said of their secondary draft. Sleekness go for Outhquong. Oath plays that one, something we have not seen all year. SPL, SEC, SOC. Nobody's locking in that god. Something that we would consider incredibly late game slanted. When does he play it? He plays it in the early game, and he makes it look good.
And then he does get to that late game, and he's able to hard carry and shred not just objectives, but players and pretty much anything that decides to stand in Oath's way. This team has a lot of, I'm going to call it, a lot of hidden talent. If you haven't been following the scene as long, some of these players are a little bit newer up into the bigger scene of the SCC, but they've definitely been showing that they've deserved to be here for such a long time. I mean, this team has been doing some, yes, a little bit stranger picks out of the E-set support in the Outhquong's jungle, things we don't get to see very often, especially the E-set support. That's definitely, I think, a first for me in a competitive history, seeing that guy come out here. But then it kind of begs that question when you're going up against a team like this, Mifflin, how hard is it to really draft against something where they're just throwing curveballs at you left and right?
So there's a couple of schools of thought on that question in particular, J-Mac, and I'm glad to go into them now. You can either say, all right, they're playing weird stuff, so that probably leaves some meta picks available for me, but we could try to at least limit some of the things that we know they're going towards. Quig has been playing E-set support at the top level rank play for a couple of months now, so if you want to, and you respect it, you could limit it, or you can go down the Mifflin school of thought. If I were in their position, the Herculean Hoofs that is, I'd simply say, E-set support, there's no reason anybody would ever want to play that. It's just not very good. So we're going to let them have it or hope that they take it. We'll see how the Herculean Hoofs decide to address it.
Picks and bans, game number 1. Top side of the bracket for both these teams, so a loss here isn't the end of the road, but it's all that much more important to get a win towards those grand final stages. Sleekness with a bit of the oddball picks yesterday. We'll see if they continue that trend here in our second set for them in our final set of the day. Odin as a first pick, or a first ban, I should say, on the side of the Herculean Hoofs. They take that and the Cthulhu out. No surprise, we've been seeing pretty much both of these two gods almost exclusively in that pick ban column. As you can see for the NA side, they've at least had 87% ban rate across the board.
They have been. Sol and Geb banned out by Sleekness on the other end. So what's left available? Things that come to mind: Khepri, Yamoja, Tiamat, Morgan Le Fay has seen a little bit of play throughout the weekend as well. Some of these high priority picks still out there. Uhl likely to get banned out. Generally has been one of the favorites here in the North American SCC. In the SPL, it's been a lot of set ADC. Here, though, Uhl seems to be the flavor of the week, and I can't argue with it. With the Mace Tree as it stands, with Transcendence eating some buffs recently, with Uhl straight up just getting stronger, some passive buffs to him, no reason to play against it, and the Hoofs tend to agree. Third ban overall, take out the Uller.
Yeah, no, Sol, Geb, the only god with a 100% ban rate. As far as the NA side of the bracket is concerned, none of these North American teams want this god to go into enemy hands, especially not a second pick team. They do not want the Hoofs to have that highly defensive Guardian. It seems that just that small little change, I can't even really call it small, that change to Cataclysm has really shot this god up in popularity, and even with some of the adjustments to its damage numbers, it seems that teams are really still heavily prioritizing this god.
For those of you who have not read the patch notes and don't know exactly what changed with Geb, don't worry, we've got you on the analyst desk. Geb now does actual base damage. He can kill you. That's what it means in simple terms. He can actually find some kills instead of just dealing damage based on HP remaining, percentage HP remaining, which means that he hits his power curves a little bit more quickly. And you're saying to me now, well, then why aren't we playing like Geb solo? Why aren't there any Geb assassins out there playing it in the jungle? It's because he does not get scaling from power on that ultimate, meaning that really, you just build him tank, full tank support, and you're still dealing maximum potential damage from Cataclysm, which is why that god has seen such a resurgence recently. Speaking of recent surges, Nike first up overall for the Herculean Hoofs, a pick that has some decent flex potential. Could head over into the solo, could head over into the jungle, and that will certainly keep Sleekness guessing. But why guess when you can go ahead and play your own game? Izanami and Serket locked in.
Yeah, and with this Serket and out of the performance that Quig specifically had on this god, yes, I would not be surprised at all if we do see this god go back over towards the support role. But on the opposite side, the Set, who has been banned away by some teams, completely glossed over by other ones, will be the second pick for the Herculean Hoofs, and a Sylvanas to tie alongside him. Means that you're going to have a ton of dual lane pressure and some good boxing potential to go up against this Izanami and potentially Serket or whatever they decide to throw in this lane against that Izanami.
Conventional Smite knowledge does dictate that this set is likely headed for the long lane, but I think I would be doing the fans at home a disservice if I don't bring up the fact that Baskin has got a career on this god, has taken him into mid in the past, so this could act as a flex for the Hoofs going forward. We maybe get a better look at it as the second phase of bans start off as Sleekness rounds out their picks with King Arthur on the other side. And when we're talking about flex potential, I think you have to bring up the fact that Serket can go into the jungle, could head into support, so we'll see whether or not the Hoofs want to make an allocation call on that one themselves. A Wheelish banned out first overall by Sleekness, so it seems like they think this Nike is likely headed for Soul Lane, and they do not think this set is headed in the jungle.
Seems to be one of the potent trends here nowadays is these very ambiguous gods of whether you throw them in role A, B, or C seem to be some of the ones that teams are prioritizing and banning away, though we do see a lot of the more stationary, the Geb, as you highlight, we don't really see him solo, we're not seeing him jungle, that's just support. He gets taken away the soul. And then now in the second wave of bans, looks like it's all jungle priority here, or at least all assassin priority at the very least. A Wheelish, Ratatosker, and Nemesis, the first 3 out of the 4 bans. Hoofs have one more before Sleekness have the option to go with their 4th pick. And there's still a lot on the table. There's still some mid laners up that can go for really either of these teams if this set isn't going mid, if it is going to the more recently traditional ADC role. I can't say the traditional ADC role because it is an assassin. He did kind of debut his time out in the jungle, but there is so much flex potential in that singular god, you never know where the Hoofs are going to line it out.
I'm actually very curious about the remainder of picks and bans from here on out. Generally, when you've got Serket locked in, you decide to start banning out some very meta junglers for the North American SCC, a Wheelish and Ratatasker. That means that your Serket is likely headed for the jungle, but then you'd say the same thing on the other side. The Hoofs ban out yet another jungler, Nemesis, so you'd say, all right, if they're banning the jungle god pool, both teams are now, it's very likely that they've probably got one in their own right, but instead, seems like we could be looking a little bit deeper and seeing if maybe we can see some flavor picks come out. Discordia locked in by Sleekness. That should be headed towards the mid lane. I'm not going to say that that one has any flex potential. First time so far this set, I believe. And Yanis on the other side. Some global presence and one of Baskin's personal favorites.
You know, it's funny. We saw Giannis banned exclusively in the previous set. All 3 games, this god gets taken away, and Crimson doesn't have the chance to play it. Here the Hoofs pop it out in game number 2, and now with a Robin tied alongside this Giannis, now we get to see that this set very likely going over into that duo lane. Don't think we'll see the Robin have any kind of flex potential over there. In the past, it was more so the solo lane Robin or the jungle Robin. Not so much in the ADC, and then with a Susano to round out the draft, it means this Serket is likely going to be slated over towards the support role.
Agreed, and now that you get a whole holistic look at the Herculean Hoofs roster, I think you've got a pretty good idea of how they're going to approach this game. You're really relying on your duo lane to establish pressure. Set and Sylvanas have got decent wave clear, but maybe a little bit more so in god clear potential. If they're able to close gap onto the duo lane of Sleekness, well, Sleekness is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Whereas Giannis in mid doesn't establish a whole lot of pressure in his own right, so how do you shore that up? Toss a Robin in the jungle. He doesn't fall off too poorly with the new Mace Tree enhancements. You can go towards the Heartseeker as well. All of a sudden, you're a full damage tactical nuke on the battleground thanks to that Mystic Rush. Or, if you want to, get involved a little bit earlier on and act as a bridge to make sure that Baskin does reach that late game phase.
Would it be safe to consider that Discordia is kind of jumping up here in the new guard of the mid laners? I mean, Tiamat, Raijin, and for a time Morgan Le Fay, and then kind of a hit or miss on where the new third is coming up. But even in the SPL level, we've been seeing this Discordia kind of slip through the ranks, and really a lot of players are starting to pick this god back up. And you maybe consider her being part of this new guard of the mid lane.
I'm not sure that I put her in the same tier as some of these other picks. Like Raijin still is one of the premier mid laners. Tiamat as well. Morgan Le Fay, I think, has a little bit more consistent application. But Discordia is certainly strong in her own right. The passive, I think, is one of her best assets. Just giving additional power to whoever has top damage on your team. It's a rich get richer situation. And you're already doing well, maybe do a little bit better.
Yeah, if your solo laner is popping off, well, let your solo laner continue to pop off, continue to bully. If your jungler is the one slamming it down, well, let him keep going. Even that dual lane has some potential. And I think there's a lot to be said for Dude Man Bro here on the Sleekness roster. I mean, he kind of came into this phase and we looked and went, okay, what do you got? He had a couple of standout games. He's kind of just been average, but those last couple of games that he played yesterday, this man really popped off in that Hunter role.
He has been, and now on Izanami, needs to find some pressure in the long lane. The ability to pierce the entirety of the wave is going to be mitigated a bit by that kill pressure that the Hoofs are bringing on the other side. But if he is able to hold his own, just stay alive throughout the early, continually clear out these waves, make sure that he isn't acting as food for this set, he should have decent scaling into the late game and should open the door for this Serket to rotate out of lane and act as a very annoying teammate for anyone on the other side. I think it's Wrong You that's done it best. Just stealth up in mid. Dare a mid laner to step up and walk into you.
Well, let's see who's going to step up in game number 1. It's the Herculean Hoofs and Sleekness for our final set of the day. Who's going to take game number 1? We'll throw it to Aggro and Trelly.
Thank you very much, J-Mac and Mifflin. That's right, it's Aggro and Trelly bringing you game number 1 between the Herculean Hoofs and Sleekness. A world's berth on the line between these two teams, and Trelly immediately, I think, a pretty fun draft. I loved, in particular, this last pick Susano here for Oath.
Yeah, the Susano is going to be pretty sick here. It's always a nice pick into the Janus as well. You can put that 3 on him, follow him through the portal. That's always something you got to remember. If you are on this Janus pick, is if that slipstream's on you, you can't go through your portal because he's going to follow you. As well as, I'm loving this Hoofs draft as well. You got Snoopy on the set ADC and Baskin on his signature Janus, as we just mentioned. He has a lot of fun with this pick as well.
Remember, not that long ago, when they were known as Armada, this team, a lot of this team, took down what was #1 seed Rival at the time, and Snoopy was playing set ADC and absolutely dominating Arkil. Now Dude Man Bro's got to go up against it again when it's at its peak strength, I would say, throughout its history. This is as strong as it has ever been, but Gino's immediately in trouble. Quig finds that Cobra's Kiss, and that's going to knock Gino down in the HP department, but Sylvanas less concerned about that than most other Guardians.
Dude Man Bro whipping out this Tainted Steel starter that we've seen some Izanamis go in the past. It's especially potent into this because people have been getting it not even into that much healing, but now you're against the Sylvanas, so you get that little bit of anti-heal. Well, that's going to help out in lane, and you're against the set. That's a lot of healing in that in the Kingslayer ultimate as well. So not only is it going to work out because there's a lot of good stats on the upgrade, that's usually why people pick it up, and now you have lots of anti-heal application.
Feels really good in this 1v1. That's definitely a good call out there on that Tainted Steel. But even with that, I feel like the Hoofs should be very excited to see Izanami across the way. This has been a pick that Dude Man Bro has gone back to over and over and over again. But in terms of ADCs that set can 1v1, I've got to imagine Izanami is among the easiest.
Yeah, I would say that Iza does not win that trade until very, very late in the game. And even so, if she does have his Tainted Steel online, she doesn't want a 1v1 set. I don't think you ever really want to take that fight. If you got your jungler's help, of course. But right now, Set is probably one of the spookiest gods in the game to 1v1, I would say.
And not many can do it. Izanami normally very good in those boxing matchups, but with how easy fadeaway is to track, I feel like that could cause some problems there for Dude Man Bro in this lane. But that being said, I really like Sleekness prioritizing this duo lane with their picks and bans early. I was talking earlier to the Winter Dogs after their big win and talking about Sleekness and how this team is developed. And they were saying that they really feel like Quig joining this team has changed the identity. As Meerkat jumps away from Oath's blink and saves himself from a first blood. Quig joining this team has really changed this whole team's identity, and they've become much, much harder to play against. And getting him his signature Circuit early on, getting Dude Man Bro his most comfortable pick, I think is the right strategy for Sleekness.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch Quig play, he's a player you can't take your eyes off. No matter what he's doing, it's something interesting. It's something that you haven't seen before, and he's going to be making waves. We talked about the E-set support a little bit, even on this Circuit that he got to play. He is constantly finding the CC. These the last breaths rather are going to be super impactful, and it's going to make a world of difference because Najeno is going to have such a rough time dealing with it. Vanis is not very mobile. There's a lot of CC on this Circuit, and it's going to make him, really have to watch his positioning.
Speaking of CC, the Herculean Hoofs don't have that much of it. I mean, Sylvanas, a root, obviously the knockup is fantastic, but pretty easy to pre-beats that at this level. Cope, a single target root. Meerkat, a low confirmation knockup and a big slow. I mean, there is not a lot of CC here for the Hoofs, and in fact, so little. The Nehu started off with the Aegis in the mid lane instead of beads.
And you don't even have the blink on Levanis because of that Circuit pressure. He's got to start beads. There's going to be no sort of initiation unless you're following up on the dive from Meerkat and Cope until at least level 12, obviously, if Meerkat makes their rotation over. But here we go, Oath already looking, and there's no way he can live this, right?
Oh, he's got beads, but the knockup should secure it. Quig going to claim the first blood, but it was Oath with the gank. Snoopy maybe sniffing that one out and just ejecting himself from the situation. Went back to base, so he wasn't even a viable option. Gino falls for the first blood, and Sleekness cut down the tree early.
Yeah, that's just great heads-up play by Oath. He knows that Vanis is left on his own because Snoopy did leave him. He's not going to be able to get out. He's a very slow tree, so unfortunate for him. Even through the beads, it was just not enough to keep him alive there. And, of course, Quig getting the kill. Not the worst thing in the world, but it's still not going to be great.
Normally, you don't want your supports getting that first blood bounty, but with the way Quig plays and the types of gods he does play, certainly worse options to go to. So he's got a little bit of a lead, finishes off his Thebes right around the 4-minute mark, so that is awfully early to start stacking up that item. Gino heading towards the Lotus Crown as expected will make that all-in onto him much more difficult. Last Breath won't care too much because that's true damage, but every other ability is going to have to eat through an awful lot of protections.
Oh yeah, and Quig doing what he does best. He already got that one kill, and already he was looking towards that red buff to invade. Once he gets that lead, he leaves duo lane for a bit and tries to make damage elsewhere, and Baskin, if he was a little slower on that buff, might have just gotten it stolen away.
I feel like the game plan here for Sleekness continues to be about the same. Get Quig ahead, allow him to be that initiator or that invade presence, and play around the right side of the map a little bit. Allow Dude Man Bro to just farm up and wait until that late game stage. But can you afford to leave Izanami on an island against the set? Can you afford to leave any god on an island up against set?
Well, I can tell you right now, Quig's not going to leave him, and he's going to sit right there in that jungle and wait for Snoopy to step up. I guess he got tired of it because he's been there for quite some time. He's going to take his way over to mid and see if he can catch maybe Baskin or slipping, but he's just kind of lurking over here, and Oath is also on the way. Snoopy might have to go for some damage here.
Blink in from Oath, looking for Snoopy, and he's just dead. Oath just solos him just like that. Auto cancels, makes it easy. No beads used by Snoopy, but he did use that Kingslayer ultimate at the very last second, so that goes on cooldown. Oath, 2 visits to the duo lane, his hit paid both times.
Yeah, I think they just need to ward up and stay back. Snoopy was definitely way too far up there, and they're still looking for more here. But it looks
Cope,
like
Wind Siphon back in, and look at the damage Oath is doing right back on top of him. And Cope gonna Mystic Rush away. That leaves Gino in an awkward position. Apple does land, and Gino Gonna send two flying up. Baskin's right behind him, and Quig will fall to the dot. Oath just a sliver away from doing the same. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, support for support, but Gino falls for a second time.
Beautiful through space and time enough to get the trade. I mean, that was just, you love seeing those combos, the through space and time into the unstable. And Baskin, if the jump's not up, could have one here. He's got the slow.
Got the slow, and that'll force the Aegis. Well timed from Nehu. Just has to turn around and know he's got to time it, but Baskin makes a nice little play to get something going for the Herculean Hoofs as Oath has really kept the pressure on. Dark Portal a little bit too late to steal away that purple from Snoopy. And if I'm Snoopy, I just see Dark Portal used. I'm going in. Yep. Probably this wave because he's got Kingslayer.
Kingslayer's up, and it looks like he's probably going to sit back just in case, but it looks like he is getting that aggression. He knows this purple buff is up. He has no idea where the jungle is. Oh, maybe he is sensing that. Yep, I think Geno probably called it out. Dude, they're all coming back. Let's stay back this time. Snoopy, I understand the aggression. As you said, the Dark Portal is down. You have a pretty sick dive there, but let's just stay back here. You still don't want to fight that double assassin right now.
Absolutely not, especially with the damage that Oath is doing. I mean, Susano's supposed to be this late game god, right? I mean, he's not supposed to 100-0 you 5 minutes into the game, but Oath kind of proving our assumptions wrong on that pick. Has been off to a great start, been involved with every kill so far. Snoopy still walks up, meets Quig in the jungle, but Quig on the Circuit obviously going to be A-okay.
Every time I look over in this lane, I just think of Meerkat getting camped, and thank goodness that Oath is putting all of his eggs over here in this duo lane basket, because this man has had a rough weekend thus far. They've got to win, of course, but he's been the punching bag getting there, because this solo lane has just been a high point of contention.
Meerkats used to be in the punching bag for this team. I can assure you that this team always playing around this man, Basket, who's able to escape the clutches of Oath. Blink and a Typhoon expended. And for the first time, Oath comes up empty-handed.
Yeah, that slipstream was able to get him through the first portal, but he did not want to follow him into the Tier 1 tower. But this man just, is there an S key on his keyboard? I don't think so. It seems like Oath just, whoever he sees goes in. Beautiful pull, and that's going to be the beads.
Dude, Manbro uses the beads. Snoopy knows he doesn't have fade away, but also knows he doesn't have a lot of backup if he were to go in now. Cope looking for Nehu, gonna find the root, has the overhead kick, gonna take a good amount of damage from this, but he's got Mystic Rush, and he's gonna trade 1-for-1, and Snoopy is in, finds Dude Man Bro already. Great portal coming from Basket, and now Quig has got to use every bit of his movement to get away. Skewered underneath the Tier 1 tower, and Snoopy finds himself a double.
I didn't think he would have the mana to put down the Sand Clone as well as the Skewer. That was a beautiful shot, and that's going to be a huge turnaround for Snoopy, because he was a little down there, but now he's up 2 kills. I'm sure he's going to be sitting pretty in this lane. He's got a wave to push as well, and he's got his purple buff up, so great turn of pace here. The gold lead's still in Sleekness' favor, but I'm thinking as this set goes on, it's going to be a lot better for him.
I mean, a lot of the gold on to Quig right now, right? He's up 500 gold. That's part of that first blood bounty that he's got, but he's got 2 of the 4 kills for Sleekness in this match. And Gino, despite being 1-2-2, a little bit behind in golden experience, but still able to contribute on something like the Sylvanas. So maybe that first blood going to Quig is coming back to haunt Sleekness a bit.
Yep, Chronic does have a little bit of a lead as well. I think Meerkat just ticked over to 10, while Chronic might be getting on his way to, he's probably just sitting there at 11, but either way, just kind of doing King Arthur things over in that lane, making sure that he's being as much of a bully as possible. But regardless, the fact that Basket is actually up a level is pretty sick as well. Janus is going to be able to get to all of the farm on the map way quicker than any mid laner can, but Basket is definitely being very proactive in this jungle right now.
0-0-4. Been a part of all 4 kills so far for the Hoofs, and certainly have felt his presence. These through space and times have been right on time for Baskin. As Quig looking for Gino once again on a sentry ward, but Oath is on a ward as well. Oath 2-0-2 in a great position to try and take a fight. Is Nehu gonna step up, get some good poke on a Gino, and Oath blinks in, looks for Snoopy, has that jet stream, and now Snoopy knows he's gotta turn and fight. There's the last breath, and that's gonna spread onto 2 members of the Herculean Hoofs. Great value coming out of that ultimate from Quig, but that will be all she wrote. Snoopy found yet again Oath being the proactive jungler.
I mean, on this set pick, you never want to be the initiator. You never want to be the first one to go in here. I mean, it's not like Snoopy's trying to go in. Oath is blinking in to catch him out, but Set's got to sit back, wait for these relics to be expended, wait for a couple ults or dashes to go down before he goes in, and Snoopy has gotten caught out twice now where it just wasn't exactly where he should be, and right now Geno could be in some trouble his way. A lot of damage coming out from Oath, and I don't think he can make it out of this.
That last auto from Dude Man Bro will seal the deal. Oath making it happen right now for Sleekness. He kind of went off on this Alkwong pick yesterday that came out of absolute nowhere. The Stonefall Alkwong, now on the Susano, the driving force for Sleekness, and they're starting to group around this Gold Fury. Ultimate's available for Nehu, but I don't know if anyone's going to be here in time. Baskin's ultimate charging, but not up. And it's Sleekness getting the first Gold Fury of the game and pushing themselves up about 2,000 gold just 11.5 minutes in.
Surely these guys weren't the last seed, right?
Oh, they were?
No, that can't be possible. They're looking absolutely dominant right now. There's no way these guys are the last seeds. Obviously joking, they were, and they are showing why they deserve to be here clearly, and Oath is driving this force right now, while Quig is having a lot of this success as well. He has been the initiator, but Oath is finding stuff, almost forcing it, but it's working out so well because of his playstyle on the Susano. He's hitting everything.
Absolutely, and we talk about Set as having this huge CC, or range rather, as hold that thought. Nehu may have to just use the Aegis here if Cope commits the Mystic Rush, but he doesn't. Portal's
That's
actually
the wrong way. That's the wrong way.
There's not, that apple doesn't land, but the Typhoon will. And Cope still alive. Cope gonna live because Baskin is absolutely out of his mind. Snoopy gonna join the fray a little bit too late, and there won't be kills for him to find because Oath is already fallen. Finally, they're able to take down the Susano.
Hey, the portals giveth and the portals taketh away. That way he went the wrong way. He almost died, and then Baskin said, oh, I'll save you with my other portal. Don't worry, I got plenty of them. Absolutely insane, perfectly placed portal by Baskin there. The pull off the mark, but I don't think Quig is going to be too worried about this. And now Dudeman Bro's kind of at this tower line here with Snoopy.
Snoopy jukes out that dark portal. Dudeman Bro going to find the solo kill anyways? Dudeman Bro 429 showing up to land. And let me tell you what, Trell, he is playing out of his mind. This guy is a Lanimal, and this is his first opportunity to play at one.
He definitely put the team on his back a few times in the previous set, and soloing Snoopy's set under tower is no small task. Even after missing the dark portals, he hits those autos.
It's a zoning ult.
Yep, absolutely. He kept him exactly where he needed him to.
Had him dead to rights if he just made sure he didn't go that way, and finds a solo kill onto Snoopy. 3-1-3 for Dudeman Bro, and I really think this duo lane for Sleekness, I mean, Oath, we've been talking about him all game long and for good reason, but as I was saying at the very beginning of the game, the duo lane just feels like they are such a big difference maker for the Sleekness team, and with Quig joining, and with Dudeman Bro really starting to step his gameplay up, he had a bit of a rough stretch at the beginning of this phase, but he has really turned it around, and you want to talk about playing your best Smite at the right time. Dudeman Bro is playing his best Smite at the right time.
I would have to agree. And you know who else is playing some great Smite? Baskin, the level 16, despite his team being down. You look at the other team, you look at Sleekness, and they're like, yeah, we're all doing pretty well. We're all up a level here. Baskin's up 2 levels, and his team's behind. This Janus pick, while it does get some great farm, it doesn't play itself. Baskin is playing it extremely well and piloting this farm game, doing so much damage, these clutch portals, and it's not going to stop. They have to get a kill onto Baskin at some point, or this game is not going to keep going this way, I would say.
Oath is certainly equipped to do so on that Susano. Is Snoopy going to step up? He knows they just destroyed the Draugr, and there's the blink in, looking for Snoopy right away. Dark portal a little bit off the mark, but here comes Oath, and Snoopy's just out of options. Can't get away from all that damage, and Oath finds kill number 3.
Snoopy knew they were on the Draugr, really just did not put enough respect on them there, or maybe thought they backed, I'm not quite sure. But to me, that's the second time he's stepped up where he probably shouldn't have. Maybe he just thinks I'm on one of, if not the best gods in the game, I'm going to be all right. But that last breath stops a lot of your Kingslayer. The healing is not there. That's one of the reasons why this pick is so good, so you got to watch out. You got to ward up and stay back.
Nehu in a bit of an awkward position. Meerkat doesn't loop around on him, a little bit too worried about where Chronic is on his rotation. And Chronic going to use that Excalibur's Wrath. Lots of reinforcements coming, and Meerkat peeks around the corner and goes, oh, never mind. But how about that? A pull onto Oath. See ya later. Meerkat Goomba stomps him down and now is onto the back line. But Cope's got to deal with Chronic. This King Arthur absolutely dominating in that 1v1. Meerkat left to the wolves, and it's Dudeman Bro with his 4th kill of the contest. Gino nearly turned that into a great fight for the Hoofs, but Sleekness able to turn it back around, and now it's onto the Pyromancer for Sleekness. Sleekness will get it despite the steal attempt from Snoopy. Another good portal for Baskin will peel away. And Sleekness, even when it looks like they shouldn't be winning these fights, managed to find another small victory.
I still think the Hoofs, their comp, this Vaunus really needs a blink engage, right? Because Snoopy can't be the one going in first.
Yeah.
But if Geno's going to be hitting pulls like this, that's all they need if they can keep this up. Of course, Unfortunately, Meerkat does get hit by that apple banking off FG, and that is going to spell curtains for him, and then they lose the Pyro. But if they can just hold out until Geno gets Blink, and if that is going to be his relic of choice, which I think it is, because, again, we've mentioned this, they don't have that much CC. Without the Blink ult, I'm not really seeing too much engage here.
Actually, Nehu doesn't even have beads. He's level 16 and has upgraded Shell. And this used to be the big counter to set. When it had its block stacks, that was what you would buy in order to stop him from just chainsawing through your team. And now it doesn't have those block stacks, but it might be better against Set because he attacks so fast that the individual blocks didn't matter that much. It's more damage mitigation over a longer period of time. So a smart pickup from Nehu is Primal Fury pulled, Chronic
Quick chunked.
zoning him, Quig low, Dark Portal there, but Cope gonna blink into the very end. Sleekness has already gotten the Fury as Baskin playing the 1v1 up against Oath, and that Aegis maybe just saved Baskin's life. He gets out, and so did Quig. So now Cope kind of caught in no man's land, looking to see his angle in, going to loop around. This is awfully aggressive, but Meerkat is right there with him. Wind Siphon, Meerkat blocks in, looking for Oath. Mystic Rush doesn't land, and Meerkat and Snoopy are in under Oath. They find him, but Snoopy's going to get last breath underneath that tier 2 tower. Aegis only buying Snoopy a bit of time, but Quig going to find him in the end. Both Cope and Snoopy down, and Chronic still unstoppable on this front line. Baskin's returned, but he's just here to usher the team out of danger because the health bars on Sleekness just a bit too high.
That was such a sick blink by Meerkat. It ended up blocking Oath's 3. No, another pull in. And it looks like Meerkat's going to be able to fit it. No, not quite enough damage.
Not quite enough damage. Baskin with another good portal. Turn onto Chronic, and they will not find it. Unstable Vortex a little bit wide left. Dude Man Bro still plenty healthy, has all his relics, just tossing out boomerangs. And through space in time, Nehu! Gotta watch both ways before you cross the street, buddy. Baskin's ultimate flattens him in the middle of the mid lane.
I mean, maybe he just didn't expect him to have that much cooldown. He doesn't have Sands of Time, right? But no, that Chronos Pendant Soul Gem will definitely do it. You gotta make sure you're looking back for those fadeaways, and back to base for Nehu. He had Aegis and Shell up, but he just did not see that one coming clearly.
Never saw it coming, and Baskin absolutely dominates on this Giannis pick. But we saw Oath nearly take him out. Feel like that's really the battle from here from Sleekness is can Oath and Quig, the two divers on the team, take care of this Giannis? Because you're right when you said 10 minutes ago, Trelly, if they don't take care of this Giannis soon, this game is not going to continue the way they want.
He's 2-0-5 at this point. Oath just
level 20, by the way.
Yeah, Oath just ticked over to 16. That would have been a 5-level differential with the character you need to finish and the character you are. Oath has been popping off. Just the jungle right now has been going in and kind of trading out their lives at this point, and they haven't been getting that farm game up. So if Oath can get to level 20, no problem, right? Janus should be just mincemeat. But right now, Baskin's got all the movement in the world, and he just upgraded. He's going to have so much more movement speed now, so much more damage and mitigations. It's just going to be crazy. His starter, at 19 minutes, he upgraded his starter.
That is absolute insanity. Look, they're looking a little bit less like the Herculean Hoofs and a little bit more like Baskin and the boys right now, because Baskin is the win condition now for the Herculean Hoofs, but he has multiple members to contend with. I mean, Chronic seems pretty much unstoppable on this Arthur right now. Dude Man Bro, 4-1-6, only missing 1 in the kill participation department, and he's level 19, so getting ever closer to that level 20 mark as well. And despite Geno having a couple of nice pulls, despite that one being off the mark, the Hoofs certainly lacking for that initiation, and it is not a blink for Geno at level 12. It is an upgraded sprint instead.
So it seems like they're just going to be wanting to sit back here. I mean, that could definitely be a strategy as well. There's a huge gold lead right now for Sleekness, 5K at this point. So maybe if they're just going to play the defense game, you sit back. You can still get hit by that Wrath of Terra if you walk into it. So maybe that's their play. Sit under Phoenix, maybe look for a defense. But as of right now, just waiting for Cope and Meerkat to initiate. I'm not sure how good that's going to be. But Baskin might just hit a slapper downfield and start off the fight either way.
That's how it's been a couple times. Cope in this game on this Raven have not called his name very much, mostly been on the run. Oath has really been able to get the better end of this jungle matchup through this point in the game. But this Raven, I mean, it still has that one-shot potential on these backliners. Anytime, if he can catch you slipping with your positioning, Izanami and Discordia both can have trouble getting away from this Raven.
If these carries group up, at least Nehu's got the shell. They can peel each other.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the beads, but hey, you can shell your buddy. You can live together, peel each other with damage. That's always a fun way to do things. Pyro is coming up. We got a few more seconds on that Oni Fury as well. We're going to have to see if the point of contention here, if they want to go for this FG with this goalie they have, have, or if they just want to go for Pyro, play it safe, get that Relics online, because, of course, Baskin is the only level 20 we see besides Dude Man Bro, who just ticked over, and no upgraded starters yet for this Sleekness roster.
Yeah, does Dude Man Bro upgrade this Tainted Steel up against this much healing on the other side?
I could see the benefit for it, but probably not, right? I mean, he's Izanami, he has so much damage. I feel like you have your anti-heal elsewhere, you have Divine and Brawlers already, but also the upgrade isn't terrible.
Yeah, not bad. Blinking from Quig, looking for Cope. Full combos him, and Baskin is alive, but just barely. Also provides a convenient portal for Cope, and Meerkat asking for one of his own. Still has the ultimate if he needs it, but he doesn't. Holds on to that ult, and Snoopy all the while pushing down this left-hand side, knowing he needs the farm before he can really contest in these fights. So onto the Fire Giant they go. Meerkat jumps in, looks for Nehu. Nehu gonna have to force the ultimate for Meerkat, and he does. Thorns make no difference whatsoever for the Hoofs solo laner, and Chronic gonna find his second. Snoopy still pushing on this left. He's gotten the tier 2, heading towards the Phoenix. Is Oath trying to decide what he wants to do. Does not go back. Instead, still hunting Baskin. Big damage onto Oath, and he's going to be forced back. Baskin's ultimate still down, but Sleekness still on the Fire Giant, getting low. Cope
on the
maybe
wall.
looking for the steal, but no! Sleekness confirmed the Fire Giant. Now they just have to get out, and Chronic maybe has different plans, tries to chase down Baskin and forces him out. Is worth noting, though, Snoopy got that left side Phoenix, Trelly.
Snoopy did get that Phoenix. Baskin's ult just was not quite up in time. If they stalled a little bit longer, I have no doubts that a steal would have been on the table. Cope was just a little bit late on that Mystic Rush, but the Phoenix is not a small task here. That's going to be a big deal, and he gets out because they couldn't quite find him backing by that buff there. So now Oni Fury is an option. They do have the FG buff. Are they going to look for these tier 2 towers? Yes, definitely. Is the Phoenix on the table? They're going to have to push into one. And that is going to see where Sleekness is going to put their focus.
I mean, they've got a pretty good gold lead right now. That'll put them up 6K at 23 minutes. But that play, is it weird that I feel like that almost favors the Hoofs, that exchange? Because Snoopy catches up 3 levels, gets a Phoenix, gets to upgrade his starter. Yes, there's 5 members of the Fire Giant there for Sleekness, but they have to worry so much about this left side now, and Snoopy's actually a factor in these fights, that I think the Hoofs are probably fairly happy with how that exchange went.
Well, they got Snoopy level 20, which is definitely a big deal. Dude Man Bro is also level 20, and he did end up upgrading to that breastplate, so he did go and think that anti-heal was valiant enough that he wanted to go for it. So with the Oni minions, I think they could honestly just push into this down Phoenix side, and they don't worry too much about that. But pretty much what's going to happen is Snoopy hitting 20, getting that Bumba Spear going to be enough?
I feel like that's got to be a huge difference maker for him, and he's working towards a serrated edge, so trying to get some more percent penetration in the build. Not a Heartseeker, but a little bit more auto-attack based, but that could kind of play into what Sleekness wants. They still have that upgraded shell available for Nehu. Is pushing down this left-hand side with these Oni minions. Dude Man Bro seems like this will not be a tier 2 tower defense by the Hoofs. They are pushing right, Snoopy and Baskin.
Yep, it looks like Snoopy is just going to be playing the split push game here with Baskin. Even if they do rotate on him, they have through space and time to get out at any time, so they are going to be able to trade this. But look at them, they're already at the Phoenix here. Quig is going to back to defend just in case.
Quig backs, Snoopy still around and is going to be spotted on a ward, so that's good information. Nehu backs as well, as Chronic has gone in onto Meerkat. Not a lot of damage coming his way. Dude Man Bro a little bit in the wings as Oath splits off and gets that tier 2 mid. Snoopy should have now seen Quig as Quig blinks in, but Snoopy's already committed underneath that Phoenix. He's going to have to beads because he's pulled Phoenix aggro.
A lot of
and
damage.
Now Quig is trying to 1v1 Snoopy, and he nearly does it. Nehu's ultimate a little bit wide, but just needs to hit the one, and he does. Easy kill there for Snoopy as Baskin fired off that through space in time as a potential getaway measure, but not going to be enough. Chronic, meanwhile, looking for Cope. Good God, that damage is significant coming from this Arthur, this Glad Shield King Arthur. Not as potent as it used to be, but still pretty good.
Oh yeah, that upgraded Bluestone is definitely going to be chunking as well. 2-0 on this King Arthur. He is still not being able to fall despite all the kills that have been going out this game. Baskin also has not been able to fall. This has been a crazy game. I figure whichever one of these guys dies first will definitely be big waves for this team fight. And now the siege on the middle Phoenix is going to begin. They're just going to let the fire minions flow in left lane right now.
Not too concerned about it. Left side Phoenix is coming up fairly soon. So Sleekness on a timer. Probably not much left on their FG either. Quig, no blink, no ult, but still going to be first one in, trying to zone out Baskin, and he'll do just that. Gino's the focus, but Meerkat doing good work zoning on that back line. Cope still waiting for his opportunity to strike, and the Phoenix has taken minimal damage from Sleekness. And they're going to decide to pull the ripcord early, which I like quite a bit, Trelly, because now you get an opportunity to actually reset and defend this left side Phoenix.
I mean, that push was on a timer as is because that Phoenix, it just came up, and if Quig doesn't hurry, it might go down. He's going to have to get there very quickly. That's a big wave coming their way, and looks like they are going to make it there just in time, but there's going to be a little bit of damage going. So I feel like they kind of half committed to that fight, but It looks like they're going to find Chronic if they can, but he's a tanky boy. I really doubt they're able to chase this the whole way.
Yeah.
He has a lot of mobility here.
And beads as well. So Baskin uses the ultimate, which you can use liberally at this point in the game. 30% CDR done for him, plus the Chronos Pendant passive. So not the end of the world. The Herculean Hoofs have yet to fight a 5-on-5 engagement in this game. Snoopy has been committed to the split push. It worked on the left side, not so much on the right, but all things considered, the Hoofs stay under a 10,000 gold deficit. They keep all of their Phoenixes on the end of that Fire Giant push, and the goal, I'd say 8,000 at 27 minutes is a better place to be than down 4,000 at 21 minutes, which is where they were when that Fire Giant was completed by Sleekness. So I think the trade ends up working in their favor.
Yeah, and the EXP lead at this point doesn't really mean too much. Everyone who needs to be at a level is at a level. They got their upgraded starters. Everyone but Geno, of course. So at this point, you're looking at Snoopy's build. He has the Serrated, he has Bumba Spear, he has all the damage he really needs right now. Baskin is about to finish what I can only assume is going to be that Soul Reaver. We're seeing big power spikes from the Hoofs despite being down this much damage. And this firefight, if they choose to take it, is going to be very difficult for either team without a pick.
Meerkat looking for Nehu, knows he doesn't have Purification Beads. That through space and time going to give good portals to chase this one down. Nehu knocked up by Gino, and the commit is there. Aegis, but Snoopy has just been one-tapped by Sleekness' backline, and now Meerkat has few options as Quig finds his fourth kill. Cope gonna fall as well. Mystic Rush of just waiting in the wings to be used. Chronic gonna chase down Baskin. Beads are there and Portal's good, but Oath is gonna chase him down, and Sleekness, the 4th seed in the SCC, is gonna go up one game and be one game away from punching their ticket to the World's qualifiers.
I told you, Aggro, right when one of them died, this would spell disaster, and Baskin falls, and it looks like this Titan is going to fall as well, unless Geno pulls off one of the greatest Titan defenses we've ever seen. He does not have the damage. There's no way he can survive here, and it looks like they are going to kill him and destroy this Titan in the process. Sleekness takes up game 1.
Look at Cope's face in the bottom left there, man. He takes off the headset and kind of eyes go wide. Yeah, that's how you're feeling right there. Dude Man Bro standing up, feeling good about how that game went, and who could blame him? They feel like they wanted him to take Izanami. They want that Izanami set matchup, and not only did it never materialize, it materialized all right, just in favor of Dude Man Bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw someone on Twitter after the first game, they said Dude Man GOAT, and I gotta agree with you. The man on land is insane. I mean, he's doing everything he needs to. He's being the perfect ADC that you could want. He even provided the anti-heal for his team, which is gonna be crazy. So, absolutely insane. The man played nuts.
Something about the 400s. You got Awesome Jake 408, Dude Man Bro 429. You're thinking for some numbers in your name. I know where you should start. An incredible game 1. Sleekness is one game away from forcing us to call them a world championship contender. Boy, would that be fun. We'll be right back with game number 2.
That's right, January 6th through 9th of 2022. Yeah, I know it sounds like it's so far away, but it's just right around the corner. You can go to Hi-Rez Showcase. We'll have so many things going on. We'll have panels, meet and greets, cosplay contests. But for us, probably here in the esports department of everything, the most important out of here, the SMITE World Championships will be going down. All of these players, and some of these players here playing today might even have an opportunity to be there on that world stage. So make sure that you tune in to Hi-Rez Showcase January 6th through 9th of 2022, coming right around the corner. Right around the corner is game number 2 after a strong game 1 performance out of Sleekness. Seems like they had to control the majority of this game, dude, man, bro. One player that we talked about, if he's able to get comfortable in that dual lane, can really pop off for this team. It seems he was able to do so.
I passed Trelly Relly in the hallway on the way into the studio here, and he said, and I quote, dude, man, goat, 429. Never forget the numbers. Trelly Relly obviously did not do so. But I think this game really does come down to early game diff. The Sleekness squad got control very early on. There was really only one 5-on-5 engagement throughout the entirety of this match, and it came pretty late on. And by that time, the Herculean Hoofs, despite grouping up as 5, were not strong enough to line up against Sleekness. It was a lot of space controlled by Chronic. Oath was able to close gap into the backline very often. Susano, one of those tried and true counter matchups into gods like Yanis, just drop that 3, he walks through a wall, you teleport with him, and from there, you probably win the fight because you're an assassin. It just felt like Sleekness came in with a high-pressure composition, a high-pressure style of play, be it through the side lanes. Circuit and Izanami together should be able to establish dominance more often than not. King Arthur on his own and throughout the early game benefiting from Discordia's passive was able to get the better end of the 1v1 up against Meerkat. And then by the time we did get to the team fight phase, I would argue only one team was ready for it, and that was Sleekness.
And that's one of the big things that maybe to highlight here is that, sure, Nehu may not have had the top of the damage charts, may not have been the most impactful, but that passive kicking in to assist Chronic, to assist Dude Man Bro, even Oath at times was able to give them that extra little power spike that they needed to move further on. And maybe that's a little bit of why we are seeing the Discordia. She's not a god who's going to be a harsh detriment to your team. She's got decent lockdown. She's got good presence and damage on her own right. But then, in your own words, when the rich can get richer, in this case the King Arthur can get top of these damage charts at 21,000, it's kind of hard for a team to really fight back in when a god is able to pop off and do so much out there. Chronic coming up big on the right side of the map for the team, and Dude Man Bro and Quig on the opposite side. It'll come up big and get themselves a game 1 win. Going into game number 2, it's a big one here. Sleekness, they can get their second win. They can be the only team to, again, get another 2-0 here in the weekend. Most importantly, they get towards that grand finals and a seat in the placement rounds at the SWC. They're going to want to close this out, but if any games have been a testament to how today is going to be going, we may be even potentially just looking at a game 3 if Herculean Hoofs can make a bounce back here.
And to bounce back, it's going to take some adaptations, some of which I think you could root inside the duo lane. 3 and 7 was the KD for Snoopy on this set. And Set is a god and pick in the duo lane that has had a lot of success at the SPL level, but Snoopy not quite able to tap into that here today, especially considering how strong his performances were earlier this weekend. I think he might as well just go back towards those standard hunters, or if you want to go back a couple of years on the clock, maybe we see some mage ADCs.
Yeah, there was man, that feels like so long ago when we did see the mage ADCs pop out there. Even just some of the more actual traditional mage ADCs compared to the mages in the ADC role. Game number 2, picks and bans are here for the Herculean Hoofs and Sleekness in our 4th and final set of the day. It's going to be Odin and Izanami, a god who's been first pick potential for a lot of these teams. Namely, Sleekness has really been prioritizing getting this god up for Dude Man Bro. He's got other gods in the arsenal, so taking this one is a major respect thrown towards this player, the degree of comfort he's got to have on this god. And then you have the Morrigan and Soul band away on the opposite side of the board, not letting Baskin have something that he's been able to perform exceptionally well on so far this weekend.
All the Guardians still available. Geb, Sylvanas, Capri, Emoja out there and ready to be taken by whoever so chooses. That said, there is also a couple of priority mid laners still available. Tiamat has not been banned out as of yet, so we'll see where the Hoofs go with this next ban. I'm expecting it to be a little bit more so in line with standard. Wouldn't be overly surprised to see something like the Geb ban here than Sleekness. If I'm really trying to be a prophet, maybe an Uul ban in their own right. You could also flip those, but it is a long deliberation here from both of these teams, and whoever does lose does not go home. So there's still hope for either one of these squads. They will drop down to the losers bracket. Not too much on the line for now, but whoever does win this, well, they've got a free ticket.
A lot of pondering here by the Hoofs, and they go with an E-set ban, something we normally only see against the Surdy Artisans and Sino, but they're going to throw a ban towards the E-set support that we saw come out of Quig yesterday. But in the top spot, maybe this is just something for them to leave other picks up and see what Sleekness are willing to leave open. But man, Mifflin, you already talked about all the Guardian supports that can come out of here. Cthulhu, who has been pretty much a top ban throughout the entirety of these circuit playoffs for both regions. You see 88% ban rate just in North America alone. This god is still up with all of those support Guardians.
I'm still reeling from the fact that Quig somehow caught a respect ban for his E-set support. Nehu's not taking it into mid. So that is almost guaranteed, just trying to limit what Quig's bringing. The Hoofs say, it's weird, it's worked, and I don't want to play against it. Geb is the response ban on the other side. Sleekness just keeping themselves a little bit more in line with the standard meta, but that leaves available one of Snoopy's best picks and a pick he had a great performance on earlier this week. Ool, locked in. It's going to deal a lot of damage. It's going to bring you some pressure in the long lane. Snoopy, first pick overall, has to step up.
That leaves so many big priority options up for Sleekness. They get some comfort in the dual lane, which is something that Snoopy does need going up against Dude Man Bro. And now let's see Dude Man also kind of dip his toes a little bit further in his god pool. We have seen some Hachiman come out of him in the past. Maybe we'll see that come out of here in Game 2. But Sleekness will immediately ignore a lot of these top support picks coming out of here. Nike, first god locked in after the Geb was banned away, and now a Circuit, which we still have the potential to see that one go back over to Quig yet again. So Sleekness, they don't seem deterred one bit about this ESET ban. They're saying, okay, cool, waste a ban. Why not? If you're not going to ban something that really worked out well for us in game number 1, well, we're just going to go ahead and run with some of these other big picks. Something that has been seen as somewhat of a counter to gods like Circuit and Odin in the past. Wheelish does get locked in for the Hoofs.
So ambush from Circuit. Yeah, that's going to get Gravity Surge. Nike's Leap, probably going to get Gravity Surge. And if you can't get those, well, Cthulhu's got a couple of knockups on his own. Probably about 15 every about minute when that ultimate is available to him. Sleekness, though, they've been watching the SPL and don't want to allow the Hoofs to get the Tartarus Titans Wombo combo. Aphrodite being hovered right now, and I think that is potentially a good takeaway, but they don't need to necessarily take it in this pick slot if they're worried about the Hoofs picking it for themselves. Instead, could ban it if that is the concern. Instead, it is the Merlin locked in, and that's a good bit of objective DPS for the squad. That fire stance, when Cthulhu's descended into madness, pretty easy to land all those ticks onto him and burn him away.
Yeah, especially when that god is in that madness transformation. I mean, he is a massive target, one of the biggest ones that we have in Smite when you are in that ultimate form. Merlin as that last selection means that now a couple of mages can have their bans thrown that way against the Herculean Hoofs. On the opposite side of the board, maybe a little bit of respect thrown towards Dude Man Bro. Put him something on a little bit lower down. But it will be an Athena ban here by Sleekness, taking that one away from the Herculean Hoofs support. We did see some strong performances out of Gino on this god yesterday, so Sleekness now throwing a little bit of respect their way.
The Hoofs were joking around about maybe breaking out the Athena in the break room earlier. Sleekness clearly keeping their ear to the ground, say, oh, word? Is Athena in the cards? Maybe you aren't allowed to play that pick, and immediately banned this one away. And Sylvanas as well, another priority guardian
make it all the way?
taken off the table. Hey, when you've got Ool and Cthulhu, I think I'm willing to say that maybe you're willing to pass up Sylvanas a little bit. The Hoofs, it's Nemesis and Susano taken off the table. So they are saying, Nike, that's solo, Circuit, support, and they're right to do it. Loki locked in, that's headed for the jungle.
Man, talk about a pick to get left open after all of these bans come through. And the gods like the Hunbots and the Loki that have seen so much priority go through. But speaking of priority, a god that was banned away from Ionic after his performances in the last couple of days of play and has been seeing, honestly, less and less ban priority as the weeks have gone on in the SCC, but still is ever present. This Umoja gets locked in for the support role, goes over towards the Herculean Hoof side, and they got one final selection in their mid laner. It's all going to come down to what does Baskin want to play.
Yet another knockup locked in for the Herculean Hoofs here. Umoja going to synergize incredibly well with this Awilish, and Baskin with his back against the wall goes to one of his favorites, Scylla. Locked in. That is a high execution god. And when I say that, it's got two meanings. One, he's going to execute you from a high HP threshold because I'm a monster, hits super hard, and it's very difficult to perform on. I'm a Monster is a small circle, and he doesn't have the most consistent CC lockdown. Maybe Yamoja stuns from a distance could help him out a fair bit. The Cthulhu knockup certainly as well, but it's not as if he had the Athena taunt to set him up. That's been limited by Sleekness up until this point, but Prophet J-Mac rears his head. Hachiman locked in. Congratulations, buddy.
Hey, I'll take a win anytime that I can get it here. Talking a little bit more on this Scylla, I mean, this is a god that, a tale as old as her existence is, all it takes is one ultimate to turn a team fight, to turn an entire game. If you can get that one kill, get that one reset, it can sway that entire team fight towards your team's favor. Really has that potential to get that push. It is one of those true late game hyper carry mages with just how much damage she can do. Crush might as well be another ultimate. We always joke about like Hobwa having 3 ultimates. Scylla you can kind of consider having 2 when you throw that Crush on the field.
Yeah, Crush not only acting as a large bit of burst damage, but also some defense shred as well as a slow on the playfield as it's charging up, so you can use it on top of an objective just to make I'm a Monster be that much stronger, that much better. A confirmed tool for your team, but Scylla is going to struggle to find targets on the side of Sleekness. Loki, very evasive. That stealth giving him slow immunity as well as additional movement speed. Assassinate as a teleport. Even Merlin with Flicker. Nike's got a leap and 2 HP bars. If she drops low and she thinks I'm a Monster is coming her way, Sentinel Zeus might be able to stop that one. Hachiman, CC immunity in the ultimate as well as a dash to avoid some of these. So it's going to come down a lot to the setup from the Herculean Hoofs to make sure that Baskin's ultimates are finding a home. That said, though, I ignored one pick, and it's one of their most mobile picks. Sleekness' support, the Circuit. Sure, you got to leap, you got to dash, but when you do decide to use that ultimate to engage, it does kind of root you in place. You're stuck to somebody on the Hoofs, and as long as that guy is standing still, makes her a pretty good target for Baskin's ult.
This Umoja can come up huge for this Herculean Hoofs team against this roster. The Circuit, the Nike, they're able to get out Merlin only if he's close enough to the edge of the wall. He'll be able to flicker out. Loki would have to expend an ultimate. Poor Dude Man Bro on this Hachiman. He has no way to get out aside from walking out of one of the 2 directions. There's going to be an entire team waiting for him with open arms if he decides to try and walk out the back path. This Umoja, these ultimates, to me, is going to be the game changer for the Herculean Hoofs in the middle of these team fights.
And not only is it the ultimate that's going to be so impactful, as you highlighted, a couple of targets on the Sleekness side don't really have great ways to deal with it, but also the sustain that the Herculean Hoofs are bringing is pretty high, in a team fight at least. Cthulhu, when Descendant into Madness, can heal his entire team. Yamoja does it with her auto attacks as well as her abilities, giving up a shield as well, whereas Sleekness don't really have a whole ton of sustain on their side. Self-sustain, to be sure, as long as if you want to count Nike's shield or maybe the lifesteal from Hachiman's kit. If these fights go long, they're favoring the Hoofs.
Sleekness want that shot to go to the grand finals right here and right now, but can the Hoofs stop them? Let's take it right to the battleground to see.
Thank you, J-Mac and Mifflin. I cannot believe that Sleekness is 1 game away from going to the SMITE World Championship placement stage. I mean, this team struggled through much of this phase, but really started to turn up the Jets late. Got a big win over the Hoofs, a big win over the Winter Dogs during the regular season. And now, Trelly, they're 1 game away from doing it again to the Hoofs.
They are 1 game away, and I will say I like their draft to do it on. Oath is on Loki, which is a god he feels very comfortable with, a god that can do a lot, especially into the Scylla pick. But if Baskin has taught us anything, we can never count this man out. He is going to hit those difficult abilities, and he's going to make it look easy. So it's going to be a battle of attrition on this one, and I definitely like Quig on this Circuit pick as well.
Yeah, so surprised that Quig gets this pick again. I mean, he was such a huge factor in that first game of this set, and they banned ESET instead. I don't know about you, but that kind of floored me.
Maybe you know what? If this was the case, they were gonna go to the Copa Wheelix no matter what. Maybe they just thought let's just bait him into it, let him pick a jump, give me something to pull at this point. So if that was their strategy, they are very confident that Copa is gonna be able to deal with this initiation because Quig did a whole lot last game.
Cope did look good on this pick yesterday. We'll see if he can run that back because he struggled a bit on that Robin in game number 1. And obviously, you already called it, all eyes have to be on Baskin this game. I mean, he was the raid boss on the Giannis in game number 1. Difficult to kill, plenty of damage all over the place. But nothing hits quite like an I'm a Monster chain. You know, nothing really gives you that visceral feeling of we are getting bodied by one dude quite like Scylla. And I think with the way the Baskin played in game 1, giving him to Scylla makes a lot of sense.
Right. I mean, through space and time is certainly a game-changing ability, a game-changing ultimate, but when you're up close and you get hit by I'm a Monster, you get that reset, you go, oh no, what did we just get ourselves into? So this is definitely going to be one of those hit or miss games. If Baskin's not on, I cannot see the Hoofs, but when is he never not on, you know? Like, he's always so consistent, and already Oath is going to be looking at Meerkat.
Looking at Meerkat. Meerkat doesn't have the dash, and that'll be first blood for Sleekness, but here comes Cope looking to get the return kill, but I don't think he's going to be getting it. Featherstep was off the mark onto his direct target in Chronic, and Meerkat now dead early on in this game yet again. Snoopy meets Quig with an axe right in the face, but Quig still has the mobility, so he should be good, though. Oh, I thought his ambush might have gotten
Snoopy's
caught.
on the hunt.
Up and over the top. Dude Man Bro juking along in the wave, trying to get Quig out of danger. It seems like they will concede that Quig is going to live through that skirmish.
These are two very aggressive duo lanes, but the Hachi is definitely going to be taking a back seat to the Uller, at least for a little bit. Uller just has so many abilities right now, and the poke is going to be crazy, but Nehu is going to make the rotation just to make sure that this purple buff is A-okay.
Snoopy still looking for that poke. Cobra's Kiss taunted in, but doesn't go back towards the Circuit. Instead heads towards Gino, and that'll spell the end of that invade potential from the Herculean Hoofs. I mean, we talked about Baskin, but this might be the biggest switch up in reality, Trelly, is that Snoopy was a non-factor on the set in game number 1. Now on this Uller that he looked great on yesterday, and Oath knows it, so here he comes already. Blink in from Quig, doesn't find anything, and Snoopy now going to realize that Oath is here, but has that leap up and over the wall. Don't know if the Hoofs got purple, but I know he's still alive. Baskin on the rotation over. I'm a monster, you bet! You thought this guy was missing? Are you crazy? That's first blood on for the Hoof side. Of course, not the first blood overall, but Baskin gets us on the board early.
Who else would you want that kill on than Baskin right now on this Scylla? Already going to be building into, and Cope is going to find some big damage here. If he hits it, nope, not quite. But Baskin is going to be finding some big damage here. He's going for that Doom Orb start. The Doom Orb in the Spear of Desolation we've seen a lot, and it is going to be hitting extremely hard. You do not want to feed Baskin Scylla, and already giving him a kill before 4 minutes. That is going to be, you're going to have to deal with it. Like I said last game, if Oath does not find a kill onto Baskin Scylla, there's going to be some issues here.
I mean, you said it. You get hit by that I'm a monster, it resets, and you think, oh no. Well, oh no is right. Off to a good start. Cope, aggressive in the enemy jungle. Sees Oath, but not interested in fighting. Oath does not have his beads up, and Cope does have that gravity surge, though no beads at all for Cope in this game. Goes for Blink right off the rip, and if I'm Oath and Quig, I'm looking at that with big old wide eyes, because that seems like an easy kill anytime they see Cope.
Oh yeah, as long as that Assassinate hits, you get that initial cripple she can't get on Suku. Cope is definitely going to be getting chain stunned, and as long as Oath has a full Jotun's Wrath, which he does finish at this point, that's going to be an easily solo kill if he catches Cope out, so going to have to be watching his back at all times there as Quig rotates over, maybe looking at Snoopy if he steps up too far again.
That has been where Quig has spent the majority of his time this set, on that left-hand side, trying to make sure that Snoopy doesn't get off to a good lead, and really made sure of the opposite in last game. Dude Man Bro played fantastically on that Izanami, so much so the Hoofs decide to ban it away. That has been such a comfort pick for him. Gotta like just forcing him onto something else in that scenario, right?
Right, and if Oath does find himself going a little bit too aggro here, we have a Lotus Crown Yamoja ready to catch him in the River's Rebuke. Not Gino. Loves this pick, and he's going to be quite proficient with it. As long as Snoopy is around here, I can't see him stepping too far up and being in danger, right? Quig is going to be able to find some sort of CC, but you can't really kill him at this point. There's not too much damage, and the mounted archery just doesn't really do anything into a River's Rebuke. You can't shoot it through the wall, so lots of defense options here.
How do you like Yamoja up against a roster like this, though, where a lot of people have easy ways out from this River's Rebuke? Do you think that makes her significantly weaker, or isn't that big of a deal?
I mean, at this point, I feel like Yamoja is a very hit-or-miss pick as it is. You're just a heal bot if you're not landing these crucial ultimates, but on the other hand, we've seen Yamojas just completely carry games against this roster. I mean, so they've just been taking it away. Maybe that's the option, because Meerkat does not like it, right? You don't want to be stuck as a Cthulhu inside of this river, so taking away and just being a heal bot into this comp could also be a strategy.
Ooh.
So
Cope looking for Oath. That'll be the beads and ultimate from Oath. Small win there for Cope off the blink in, but Snoopy on this left-hand side has used his Purification Bead. Quig still has his ultimate, and that'll be another kill in this duo lane. The Dude Man Bro Quig death lane has been running rampant through this LAN, and Snoopy on the receiving end.
I gotta say, I think the Rivers could have saved him there. I don't know why he held on to it. Maybe he thought he was just gone, but at least could have blocked the ult or caught them under tower. Either way, decides it's best to hold on to it. Maybe, in his eyes, it was better used for a different team fight coming up. But regardless, you cannot let Dudeman Bro get ahead either. Sorry, Dudeman Bro 429. I've been told these numbers are extremely important to him, and I apologize about that. So if you let Dudeman Bro 429 get ahead, as he did last game, he's going to run away with it. And the Quig is going to get the kill as well, as he did last game.
Yeah, up 2 levels, or about a level, I suppose, in this matchup. Quig probably get ahead right on back. Bead still down for 1 minute and 8 seconds there for Snoopy, who was at the dead basement of net worth. And that is not where you want your ADC to be. Now, he'll catch up in farm eventually, at least in comparison to these supports and the players who are sharing waves from here on out, but still not where you want this Uller to be behind in a matchup up against this Hachiman.
When you have a matchup like this, where Chronic is going in this runic shield and you're building no power on Cthulhu, Meerkat's got to have such a rough time clearing the wave. I mean, the runic shield is going to take away the little amount of base power he has, and Cthulhu already doesn't have an easy time clearing the wave, so he's going to be getting down a lot of gold just by letting it go into the tower at this point.
Snoopy again on the receiving end, and there's the last breath. Gonna jump over the wall, and this time will end up surviving, but Cope's gone in the 1v3, and O says, thank you very much. That's as easy as a kill as you'll ever see for the jungler, and it's another easy kill for Sleekness on this left side of the map. Cope just didn't get the memo. Baskin on the rotation, though. How do you do? Another I'm a Monster right on top of Quig's dome, and that'll be the second kill for Herculean Hoofs, and looking awfully familiar to the first one.
The Rivers Rebuke was enough to keep Snoopy alive. Unfortunately, Cope with no beads does go in and give the easy kill, but when the going gets tough, Baskin is going to come over, clean up, get that Alma Monster reset. Does not need a second kill, but already one step closer to that Spear of Deso. Once that combo's done, Spear of Deso into the Doom Warp, he's going to have a lot of cooldown, a lot of damage. He's going to be able to rotate to these fights even quicker once he clears the wave. I'm telling you, Baskin is a ticking time bomb right now. You do not want to let late game Scylla come on before everyone else.
Nehu just trying to keep up and farm, and has done so up until this point, but not going to be easy if he continues to get those rotation kills as Quig looking for Meerkat, blinks in, Cobra's Kiss, forces the descent into madness, and Gino providing for healing on the way out, but Quig's blink for Meerkat's ultimate feels like an appropriate trade for Sleekness.
I've never seen how big that Lotus Crown shield
it's
gets
big, right?
when they're descending into madness. They're just like, whoa, we can't attack that guy. It's a big shield.
Whoa,
but Nehu getting very aggressive on the Cope here.
Doesn't have the damage, though, in order to get it done. Thought he might change in to that fire stance, but Cope seemed ready to turn and burn, had the gravity surge ready to go. So Nehu makes the correct choice, I suppose, and plays it with a little bit more caution in that matchup. For what it's worth, at least Snoopy has the purification beads back. Quig with that last breath back up and ready to go. At some point, do they need to stop looking at Snoopy and just trust the Dudeman Bro's going to do the job, and instead maybe focus out Baskin?
I definitely think so. I mean, it worked last game just leaving Baskin alone, apparently. It wasn't as clean of a victory as it could have been, but they did get the job done, so maybe that's the plan. But like I've been saying, Scylla is a lot different god than Janus, and if Baskin's shown the proficiency that he's had this game all game, I don't think they want to keep letting him get these ults off. But there is a 2-0 Loki already going invis here, possibly turning his sights towards Baskin, just kind of feeling it out here.
Look at Dudeman Bro's
Dudeman Bro's going to look to the assassination.
They're looking for Baskin, and he's going to Sentinel over the wall, so he's A-OK. Oath is here and looking for Cope, and Cope didn't get a chance to play in that team fight. Meerkat's ultimate still down, and look at this Rivers Rebuke from Gino. It's fantastic, and he nearly solos out Quig. Snoopy from a distance over the wall, going to help out his support, but Gino did all the heavy lifting in that one. It's jungler first support, but Quig falling for Cope. Still a win for Sleekness as Snoopy looks for the axe, doesn't find it. On to Dudeman Bro, who does not have his ultimate available. Baskin still hunting, but no I'm a Monster for him means that there's not a whole lot of kill potential.
I gotta be honest with you, I think that if Cope just went beads, this whole game starts differently. I haven't seen him even use the blink yet at this point. Maybe he blinked in once to just die, but if he starts beads, this whole game goes away differently. These assassinates would not be as crucial. He'd be able to jump out. It seems like he's just giving Oath a free camp to farm until level 12.
Oath could be in some trouble here. Yeah, he's got to use the beads. And Meerkat's still going to go for it. Descent into madness. Meerkat looking for the solo kill. That knock-up missing is critical, but he might still have Oath dead to rights. Just has to keep juking, and Meerkat guessing wrong. Oath lives in that 1v2. Meerkat just lost track of the Loki. Oath looking real skinny trying to squeeze in between him and that Scorpion, and he got out.
I'm pretty sure if Meerkat just had that mystical mail already instead of the breastplate, he definitely would have been able to find him there. Unfortunate.
100%.
He did get the beats though. That's not a terrible trade there, but you did use the Descend to manage. It's a huge team side ultimate. So, but hey, you got Breastplate of Valor. It's going to be up before the Loki beads are. If they look to aggress off that, still a win for Meerkat.
Still a win for Meerkat. Be able to get a little bit of pressure off of the rest of this squad, but Sleekness still driving this game. Snoopy's still down in XP, about a level to Dude Man Bro, but working towards his second item. Dude Man Bro on that Aussie already, as Nehu might be getting caught right now in mid. Flickers in towards the rest of his team, and here comes Oath as well. Baskin sniffs it out, but here comes Quig anyways. Good reaction time on that I'm a Monster, and now Quig has committed a bit underneath that tier 1, gonna eat 457 from that I'm a Monster, but for once it doesn't kill him at the very least. Quig able to trade out his ult for Baskins.
Looks like the Gold Fury's not going to be that point of contention they're looking for until they get this pick. They don't want to pull it. Even though the I'm a Monster's down, the highest confirm on the map is down. Crush is still going to be the second highest, so I don't think they want to 50-50 that just yet, and they're going to just back off here. Getting that ult down was big, but no relics. Baskin holds on everything.
Didn't have the beads at the time, and so use that ultimate at the perfect opportunity. Seems like the bleeding has stopped for the Hoofs, at least for a little bit. I mean, I'm a Monster has been huge, of course, for Baskin in this game, but I feel like Quig has gotten so much value out of every single one of these last breaths that trading those ultimates probably feels pretty good for the Order side, but the ball continues to be driven by Sleekness. They are the ones forcing every question to be answered by the Hoofs, and they didn't have a lot of answers game 1. Seems like they're getting closer, especially now that Cope has his purification beads. Things might be a little bit different as Oath forces the axe, but doesn't find a home for Snoop.
Kind of surprised Quig here going for the Magi's Blessing over the Pridwin we would usually see in this slot, so you can just spam Last Breath, but it seems maybe when he blinks on Baskin doesn't want to get rooted by that Sikkim. He wants to keep the CC chain going, so that seems to be the point here that he's getting it. And he won't have to get beads this way if that is his choice, so now he can go into more cooldown elsewhere.
Also worried about that gravity surge probably off the ambush.
Yeah,
and doesn't want to just get pulled by Cope anytime he uses his 3. At least got to make him earn it on that pickup. So works out pretty nicely for Quig, who despite how active and important he has been, is a little bit behind Gino in farm. Gino now ready for his second relic. 003 on this Yamoja has gotten his Gauntlet of Thebes, has that Lotus Crown, and now waiting to see what he goes with his second relic slot, and it is a shell immediately upgraded there for Gino, trying to stop this Loki dive from being quite as impactful.
I'm liking that Snoopy is finally able to leave.
Cope.
Oh, hold the phone.
No buttons left, but able to juke out Oath on that auto. Blinking from Meerkat, double stun off that dive bomb, and now Oath is going to have to assassinate away off of that pressure from Meerkat. So the blink for Assassinate, a slower cooldown for Oath, especially with the tier 2 of hi-rez and everything, but still probably feels pretty good as a good little boop back onto Nehu, and now trapped by the River's Rebuke, but has a small avenue out, waiting for that I'm a Monster, but Cope doesn't find the route, and now it's Cope Baby who's in a lot of trouble. Last breath might not be enough in order to get him, but how about Dude Man Bro riding in? The cavalry has arrived, and it's Dude Man Bro 429 with his second kill of the contest. Cope just has not been able to be a factor. 0 and 3, and now Oath hunting down Snoopy. No assassinate, but Quig has the dashes, and Oath is going to be able to find it easily. 3-0 now for the Loki.
Aggro, I know I said this before, but there's no way this was the 4th seeded team, right? There's no way Sleekness is playing this perfectly. Nehu, by the skin of his teeth, jukes that I'm a Monster because the root didn't hit, and then they just turn that fight so perfectly, and now the Gold Fury is going to be pulled up, and unless Meerkat pulls out some stops here, I don't think it's going to go well.
Consider the stops pulled. Meerkat's gone up into that Descent into Madness, and Baskin is still here. Oath getting lower. He actually assassinates away stage left. Perfect information here for the Hoofs because they've got the Oracle Vision, and that'll be enough to get them off the Gold Fury. So the Hoofs brute force their way in and stop this lead from getting bigger from Sleekness.
Yeah, full HP still at the Gold Fury. I think that was the right call to drop that one as well. They'll take their gold lead. It's climbing to almost 3K at this point, and then maybe pull the Gold Fury next time. Pyro is still up if you want a less relic to go for, but here we go. Level 16 Baskin on the Scylla. Still, they've not been able to kill him. They've thrown some damage his way, but this character, Scylla, is very safe. She can get over the wall. She doesn't really care too much about these assassinates as long as she has her relics up. and she's still going to have 0 deaths on the table.
But eventually, don't you feel like this Loki is just going to one-shot the Scylla?
100%.
Even through these relics. I mean, the Hoofs have got to find a way to be the initiators in some of these fights. And Meerkat, despite dropping that kill on the right-hand side, has been able to control an awful lot of space in this game. Geno's Rivers Rebukes could come up clutch as well, and they might have to now as Quig gonna find Geno once again, uses the full combo, but Geno's got the beast. Oath with that nice assassinated, it's Snoopy who was the target all along. Axe does find home on the Dude Man Bro, and Snoopy's egg is gonna buy him a bit of time, but I don't know if it'll buy him his life. That decoy tick will guarantee a double kill for Oath, and the dual lane woes continue for the Herculean Hoofs, and Sleekness find another big play on the map.
Snoopy had no idea he was the target. I had no idea he was the target, and he ended up just being another casualty on Sleekness' path to this Gold Fury. They're still going, though. It looks like they want more here, but the Gold Fury is still an option. Oath is still creeping up behind, but it looks like he is just going to back away.
Baskin has the red buff, and I'm a Monster, and all of his relics. Gold Fury being passed back and forth between Nehu and Dude Man Bro. Cope gonna find out now. His Gold Fury's getting low. Cope tried to seal it away with that Moonlight charge, but it was not in time. A good reset by Sleekness as they continue to just play so clean on these picks. Oath might have been caught though, as he's gonna get chased down. I'm a Monster doesn't land, and he still has the blink. Oath is out. No shot they're able to catch him from this position. Geno, even with the Riptides, I don't think that's going to be enough. Plus
but Suku's on the way. They're going to have to find him in his invis. He's hiding behind you. Did no one hear that?
Bro, Oath.
Turn your headset up.
Too clean for Oath. He is out, and the 3-level lead in the jungle continues to be a difference maker. Sleekness now pull the Pyromancer, but Geno and Meerkat local is enough to get them off of it. But Sleekness continues to impress here, Trelly. Up 4,000 gold up against the name power of the Herculean Hoofs.
I mean, I thought Oath got the tier 2 as well, so Quig, a little off the mark there with that blink, but I thought Oath stopped his back, just got a free tier 2. It did live with a little bit. He jukes the I'm a Monster, throws them on the Wild Goose Chase. Unfortunately, they weren't able to find him, and now you have a really difficult situation here, but you still cannot pull this Fire Giant with Baskin alive. There's no way you can do it, so what's the option here? You have to get this 5-0 Loki on the Baskin. Aegis and Beads are still available. It's going to be a hard kill to get, but if they do, that's when their Fire Giant is finally going to open up.
Listen, Snoopy has been neutralized in this game. Check. Cope Baby neutralized. Check. We've been able to survive every team fight with the Cthulhu. Check. The last box that needs ticking is taking Baskin out of the equation. But that has proven difficult. 2-0-1 and a level lead despite the 5K deficit on his team side. Quig gonna ambush towards Meerkat as Oath hunting Snoopy on this left-hand side. Oath has no beads, but Snoopy has his. Turnaround axe. No way. Snoopy turns it around, and he does.
Oh my God.
You want to talk about a win condition now. Snoopy just got 2 levels off of that 1 kill.
That was absolutely huge for Snoopy. He's been turning. He did that same thing to Sino. You think he's dead. He turns, hits the beautiful combo, hits the jump, and now he's making the rotation over.
Snoopy all of a sudden back in this game and giving him some confidence, probably huge. Meerkat blinking in, looking for Dude Man Bro. Riptide off the mark, but now he's trapped. Nowhere to go inside that Rivers Rebuke. And this ADC in trouble, but good patience from Dude Man Bro. Mounted Archery gonna get him out, played that very well in order to survive. But wow, a 3-man knockup coming from Meerkat. Maybe this fight's not over yet. Snoopy in trouble. Quig had the last breath, but it's his last breath, not Snoopy's. As Snoopy finds 2 kills in a row, now all of a sudden with some confidence as they head back towards the Fire Giant. I'm a Monster is down, so I don't think this is going to be a big FG pull, but this should be a Pyromancer. Cope still lurking, still has that Gravity Surge, and Pyromancer secured by Baskin and the Hoofs. And all of a sudden, all that momentum for Sleekness might have just gone out the window.
Oh yeah, if you're Snoopy right now, you're definitely hyping up the team. You're telling everyone, no worries, I got this. I just shut down the 5-0 Loki. I've got some damage now. They pull the Pyromancer, and I hope they keep this up, and they're able to get this gold. Wait a second. Is Sleekness pulling this, and they have no idea?
They pulled it, and I think everyone's starting to realize Meerkat low, no ultimate. This is a great pull by
Monster,
Sleekness.
not up.
Snoopy's on the way. Need to try and secure this over what the Hoofs have, and Sleekness grab it. They got the Fire Giant, and they've gotten 2 kills as well. Snoopy does claim Dude Man Bro, but Oath should be in good position to get some revenge. Snoopy uses the Riptide, Crush zones them away, and Snoopy pushed back. Chronic is having none of that escape. Oath finds the revenge. 7-1-2 now for the Loki, and Sleekness, just when it looked like the Hoofs had opened the door back up, slam it shut with the Fire Giant.
Oh man, this fight is going back and forth so much. That was a beautiful pullback by Nehu to confirm that kill on Snoopy. He almost made it out. He juked the 1 from Loki and the 3. He was just so quick, but the pullback from the Merlin 2 was able to keep him. Baskin still 2-0-2. Quig is hunting. I don't think he heard that.
Quig has ult. Oh, Quig just needs to land the ult, but doesn't have the ambush.
I think that was a bit of a misclick
Yeah,
for
I'll say.
sure. I mean,
That should have been a kill.
There should have at least been an Aegis there, right? But
Yep.
just the Hypo Monster is enough to get him out. Tier 2 tower is going to go his way, but hey, I think he's going to be happy with this regardless. He does get Baskin back. 2 Tier 2 towers for them as well. Primal Fury about to spawn. Sleekness has been in the driver's seat. They dropped for a little bit. Just for 1 second, their star jungler fell, and now they're back.
They are back, and that's what impresses me the most. I mean, teams can play red hot, play to a level they've never played before. Certain, nothing like getting lucky or anything like that, but elevate to a new level whenever all the momentum's on their side. But sometimes in those situations, they face a bit of adversity, and it's right back, the mental drops. They aren't playing with as much confidence, and they falter. Not the case for Sleekness. I mean, to lose the lead like they did, it wasn't all gone, but certainly Hoofs had a lot of momentum. They get a couple of kills. Oath gets shut down. Snoopy's back in the game. Hoofs playing aggressively. Dude Man Bro plays a situation to perfection. They make an aggressive call around the Fire Giant. That is impressive from this team.
That's a great point. Dude Man Bro stuck in the River's Rebuke. Pretty much all your options are gone. Held them out in archery till the very last second, just enough to ride off into safety. Stalled long enough for Oath to come back. And now you have yourself a one team fight just because of how well they played that and how they held it back. They didn't panic. They did not panic.
Played smart and within themselves, and now they are just 1 siege away from punching their ticket to the SMITE World Championships in the placement stage. What an unbelievable story that would be. Oath splitting mid. Don't really have a lot of options to answer him, as Cope has really struggled in this set. 0-4 now on this Awilix, bottom of the player damage charts, and he can't clear the wave well enough to handle this Loki, and he certainly can't take the 1v1. Bumba's Hammer, the pickup here for Oath. Blink in from Quig, but Cope had the Magi's, uses beads on that River's Rebuke, and Gino's here to help try and clear, but that's not going to be enough clear to take out this Loki. Meerkat now going to have to surge forward on this left-hand side, and he will. Uses the Thorns and the Descent into Madness, but the damage that Dude Man Bro did before he was able to get up, a little bit too impactful. Nehu just ate an axe from Snoopy and really felt it. Mid Phoenix has fallen, by the way, and Gino might be next. CC chain there, and Oath gonna grab it, but Oath is gonna fall. Baskin finds another kill as the left side Phoenix getting low. Snoopy the lone defender, and Chronic gonna zone him away. That's 2 Phoenixes down on this left-hand side, but Baskin has the combo. Quig nearly pulled back in, but will not be. Instead, it's Chronic. I'm a monster a little bit off, but Chronic has been left. No shot he survives here. That Nike surely has got to fall, but Sleekness have got what they came for. Mid-Phoenix, left Phoenix, you got to believe that they are in commanding position now as Cope just tickles Chronic and is going to need Baskin's help in order to get this kill.
I can't believe Baskin had to come back for this one. That's a very unfortunate spot for you to be in. 2 Phoenixes down, though. If you're Sleekness, not the best option, but definitely not the worst at this point. 2 Phoenixes, you got everything you really needed there. Baskin still being the one pillar of hope holding on to this Herculean Hoofs roster. I mean, he got his Obsidian Shard. He has a lot of damage. If I'm a Monster hits there, they might be able to chase and even look for more. Unfortunately, a little bit off the mark, but you still have your hopes alive at this point. You still have your Scylla, both relics available. There's a chance you can still fight for FG if you can get these minions out, but it's looking so bad because Sleekness is not making many mistakes.
They are not. They made one real mistake in this game from Oath, and it was just a quick bounce back mentally to get them right back in it, which is so impressive from this squad. The Herculean Hoofs thought to be the pretty heavy favorites coming in, but this Sleekness team, they beat them during the regular season. They beat the number 1 seed Winter Dogs, and they're looking like that dark horse team that squads have got to be ready for. They're always willing to pull out. They play a little bit differently than most other teams. They're thinking a little bit outside the box, and I think that that's really helped them and made them one of these teams that's tough to play against. And how about this, Trelly? They're all out of the base here for the Herculean Hoofs, but they did not do a great job of pushing out these left side fire waves. Someone surely has to go back and answer sooner rather than later, as they're just hunting for some damage. Quig in, on to Baskin, trying to find the Scylla, and finally the beads are gone, but Snoopy has been destroyed. Oath gets both backliners. How do you do Sleekness? It's a triple kill for Oath, and that should do it in this game. Sleekness, this number 4 seed from the SCC, has done the unlikely and have punched their ticket to the SMITE World Championships.
11-2-2 on Oath. This Loki jungle finally able to slay Bastion, and that is all they needed here. There's no way these two Guardians have enough damage to keep this Titan alive. Just perfect play out of everyone on the Sleekness roster.
Unbelievable. This team took down the number 1 seed, then came in and 2-0'd in no doubt fashion the number 2 seed here in the NASCC. An incredible run for Sleekness that it is not over yet. Remember, they get to wait and see who plays them on Sunday. They do not have to play tomorrow. They get to rest back on their laurels, enjoy the win, and get set up for that big best of 5.
Yeah, just go home, sit at the hotel, relax, and just watch some Smite because you guys played your heart out. And I gotta be honest, I don't think at any point the Hoofs had any sort of hope except when Snoopy got that 1 kill. Besides that, very dominant performance out of Sleekness.
I mean, did anyone predict Sleekness going to the finals? Without losing a game, by the way, every other set has gone to 3 except for 2. And it's been 2 2-0s for Sleekness, undefeated on the weekend. How about that?
That is insane. Goatsy, I believe was the term. Goat, Dude Man, Goat, 429. These guys, they have these nicknames for a reason, and they played amazing. What can I say?
Unbelievable run for Sleekness, and it continues. We'll see if they drop a game all weekend, but they don't have to play tomorrow. We're going to go to a quick break before we come back and break down this unbelievable set.
Welcome back to the desk one final time for our second day of the SMITE Circuit playoffs. A couple of big surprises that we've gotten all throughout today. I mean, we got announced that Transformers is now in SMITE. We saw that Sleekness yesterday was able to get a 2-0. That was a surprise, but I think even more surprising, a second 2-0 for Sleekness here to close out the day and guarantee themselves a spot at the SMITE World Championship placement matches. What a hell of a game. I'm just going to say it out there, man. Oath and Dude Man, specifically Oath really in this game, popped off.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just a lot of early game dominance, I'd say. It was a lot of camping Snoopy. Snoopy was clearly the target this time around, was not allowed to play this game and was forced into a non-factor role. But I think you're right to highlight Dude Man Bro's individual play as well. That guy was absolutely tearing through some of these team fights.
Yeah, game number 1, he comes out with one of the top KDAs of the team, able to sit back and free cast. Even though Chronic comes through and gets top player damage, it's no shy of how much he did in game 1. Game 2, he comes out, does the same thing he did on previous picks with this Hachiman. It seems that Izanami, Hachiman are the two gods that this guy just really loves playing, and it's just so comfortable doing so. But all this game, looking here on Oath on this Loki, this guy makes him kind of feel like the Loki of old, where it's just this unstoppable, how do you kill him, how do you deal with him kind of jungler.
Man, I don't even agree with that necessarily, J-Mac. I think that Loki is so much better now than he once was. This god is now allowed to play aggressively in the early game, as we saw from Oath. His late game one-shot potential is incredibly high as well. He's just constantly able to get involved, and if you aren't finding kills, you're at least able to burn off some beads. But Oath certainly not struggling to find kills whatsoever, right? Put up a triple in this one.
And an 11-2 slash line with 2 assists, but who cares about the assists when you got 11 kills here in this game? Only 4 other kills went to the other members of his team. A stellar performance out of the Sleekness. Remember, they were the 4th seed of the SCC coming into this tournament, and they had to fight the wild card match to even have the opportunity to be here. But just like the previous 2 encounters against these 2 teams, Sleekness does it again here in the playoffs in 2-0s, not just the winner dogs, the number 1 seed, but also the Herculean Hoofs in the 2nd seed.
And it is an even spread of damage output from Sleekness here. Every individual member pulls their weight, except for the support quick, 6,000 damage. You're stinky boy. Anyway, it's a little bit late in the studio. Oath, I think, deserves all the praise that he's gotten on this death segment, man. He's just so handsome, talented gamer, great smile, luminescent, scintillating is the only way to describe this young man.
And you know that's how we're getting ready for an interview with the man himself, because Mifflin will be over here hyping him up to no other. We had the same thing with Baskin at the earlier stages of the day in the earlier starting off our set, but now we do have Oath here for our post-game interview. Let's take it right over with him and Aggro to close it out.
Thanks, J-Mac. That's right. I'm standing by with Mr. Going to Worlds, by the way, Oath, who just popped off. I mean, 11 kills on that Loki game. Were you expecting this type of performance today?
Maybe not 11 kills, but I was confident in my team and me to play well. And yeah.
Yeah, is maybe the understatement of the century. Every single set has been 3 games at this LAN, both NA and Europe, except for you guys, who are undefeated. I mean, what do you think has been the biggest difference for you guys at this LAN?
Run coaching. Me and Twitch slamming rain together, you know. Yeah.
Just ruining some Qs,
Ruining
the Loki
some Qs.
circuit, maybe a little E-set.
A lot of E-set.
A lot of E-set, clearly. I mean, now you guys get to breeze through tomorrow, just watch a set, no worries. You get your best of 5 with the 1-game advantage on Sunday. The question is, who do you think you're going to face between the Herculean Hoofs and the Winter Dogs?
The Winter Dogs look really good today, so probably the Winter Dogs.
They said they wanted you. They said they wanted the rematch.
Benny Kermie popped off today.
Yeah.
And those are my boys. So.
Well, hopefully you get to play against your boys on Sunday. Congratulations, man, on the huge games. Unbelievable performance from Oath and the rest of Sleekness. Let's throw it back to the desk to close out the day.
A potential revenge rematch, no matter who ends up coming out tomorrow on top on the lower half of the bracket. But these guys don't got to worry about that quite yet. They still got to wait through until tomorrow's sets are done, because they get to sit nice and comfortable in the grand finals, 1-game advantage up. So now, again, they only need to win 2, because they'll be 1-0 immediately walking into the grand finals.
Man, it just cannot be understated how difficult a journey it has been for Sleekness to get to this point, and I think Aggro highlights it properly. Mr. Going to Worlds takes the interview, and, well, he takes out the 1st seed earlier on this week. He has to play into the wild cards. As you said earlier, Sleekness has earned every single bit of the way to where they are now. And I know I said it wasn't an easy journey, Well, they make it look so, don't they? 2-0s.
The only 2-0s that we have seen this entire weekend. They get a 2 over Winter Dogs yesterday, a 2-0 today. The Winter Dogs at least get their victory on the lower half of the bracket. We'll see them and the Herculean Hoofs facing off tomorrow. And then the winner of that obviously has to come back and face them yet again. So there's going to be a lot of revenge up there between them in the bracket. You can see how everything is panned out. With a loss today, the Sturdy Artisans have been eliminated from the playoffs. They do not get that chance to go to Worlds. Tomorrow we'll eliminate one more team and we'll decide which of the two do end up going to the World. So it's all going to come down to most surprising at the end of it. Number 1 seed obviously going to get a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit nicer, but still being able to have their bragging rights of potentially coming out the number 1 seed in North America, especially if you're a team that's sitting at number 4 walking in here, it's got to feel pretty good for Sleekness.
But make sure you're tuning in tomorrow. I mean, look, the number 1 and 2 seed competing in the lower bracket, that's pretty impressive. I mean, I was not expecting that whatsoever. I could be quoted as saying, coming into this weekend, I'm pretty sure that we just see Herculean Hoofs wash the competition. Not the case. This has been a wild weekend of upsets.
It's been a wild weekend on both sides of the bracket, whether it be AU or NA. We got 2 sets tomorrow. We'll be here at the same time, same place, 11 a.m. here on twitch.tv/SmiteGame. We're going to send 2 more teams home, 1 from EU, 1 from NA. You're not going to want to miss out on our sets tomorrow. Make sure you're tuning back in because it's sure to be a surefire match. Thank you all for tuning in and standing by. We hope to see you all again tomorrow for the lower bracket qualifiers.